Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley didn't just dominate, he overwhelmed players who should have towered over him. At 6'6", he averaged an absurd 11.7 rebounds per game for his career, outworking 7-footers with raw force and perfect timing. Barkley led the league in rebounding in 1987, despite being nearly half a foot shorter than most bigs, and he finished his career with the second highest true shooting percentage among forwards of his era. His MVP season saw him dragging Phoenix to 62 wins, lighting up opponents with explosive scoring runs that seemed impossible for someone built like a fullback. Yet every promising postseason ended the same way, as Jordan's Bulls smothered each dream run. Even his late career move to Houston, paired with aging legends, collapsed under injuries and frustration. Barkley never claimed a title, but his blend of power, skill, and personality shaped basketball's modern identity, and the next player shaped it with precision: John Stockton. John Stockton looked unassuming, but his resume reads like mythology. He holds the all-time assists record by a margin so large it may never be challenged, and he ranks first in steals with a lead of nearly 600 over second place. Stockton posted 8 seasons with double-digit assists, mastered angles no one else saw, and once shot over 50% from the field in back-to-back seasons while running Utah's entire offense. His screens bruised stars, his anticipation ruined plays before they began, and his chemistry with Karl Malone created nearly 20 years of elite production. Stockton's teams won 50 or more games 11 times, yet every dream season crashed into Chicago's dynasty. He never changed teams, never chased headlines, and never slowed down. He just kept orchestrating Utah's attack with perfect control. And the next player on this list used Stockton's precision as fuel for his own unstoppable scoring machine: Karl Malone. Karl Malone built a career that barely seems possible. He scored over 36,000 points, averaged more than 20 points for 17 straight seasons, and finished with 9 seasons above 50% shooting despite heavy defensive attention. Malone's blend of size, power, and speed turned him into a nightmare matchup, and his mid-range jumper became so automatic that coaches designed entire schemes around stopping it. Stockton to Malone produced more points than any duo in league history, and Utah routinely finished near the top of offensive efficiency because of it. But Malone's dominance collided with cruel timing. The Bulls ended his finals hopes twice, and the super team Lakers he joined for one more chance fell apart when injuries struck. His off-court controversies resurfaced over time, but his on-court impact remains massive. Malone delivered production like clockwork, and the next star delivered chaos, speed, and heart in a completely different way: Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson's career was a storm wrapped inside a 6-foot frame. He led the league in scoring 4 times, posted 11 seasons averaging more than 20 points, and retired with the 7th highest points per game average in NBA history. In 2001, he carried a roster with one other double-digit scorer to the finals and handed the Lakers their only loss that postseason. Iverson took more hits than nearly any guard ever, attempted over 2,000 free throws in his first 5 seasons, and played with a pace defenders couldn't match. His cultural impact magnified everything: cornrows, sleeves, attitude, swagger. He shifted the entire presentation of the league. Critics attacked his shot volume, but no one denied his courage or creativity. Iverson showed the world that size meant nothing when skill and willpower collided. And the next player changed the sport using the opposite philosophy: strategy over chaos. Steve Nash. Steve Nash carved defenses apart with math disguised as magic. He won 2 MVPs, posted 4 50-40-90 seasons, and orchestrated an offense that ranked first in efficiency 5 times between 2005 and 2010. His Suns averaged nearly 110 points long before the league embraced pace and space, and Nash produced seasons with over 11 assists per game while shooting better than 90% from the line. His dribble probes warped defenders into mistakes, and his vision made average shooters look elite, but every postseason brought painful turns. Suspensions in 2007 derailed their best chance, injuries disrupted chemistry, and late career attempts at chasing a ring fizzled out. Coaching later added another layer of chaos. Yet Nash's influence still shapes how every modern offense runs. He proved that skill and intelligence could overpower athletic limitations. And the next name on this list proved that strength and presence could reshape an entire city: Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing's resume reads like a blueprint for dominance. 11 All-Star appearances, 3 All-Defensive selections, and more than 24,000 career points defined a center who protected the paint like a fortress. He averaged over 2 blocks for 12 straight seasons and anchored New York's top-ranked defense multiple years in the 90s. Ewing never missed the playoffs during his Knicks tenure, leading them to 2 finals runs despite constantly facing dynasties. His 1994 postseason run included 4 games with at least 20 rebounds, and he became the first Knick to surpass 20,000 points. Yet every road to a title ended against legends. Hakeem in 1994, San Antonio's Towers in 1999, and the Jordan era throughout the decade. Ewing carried a city's expectations through relentless battles, and his consistency set the franchise standard. What comes next shifts to another icon who weaponized precision with a three-point arsenal. Reggie Miller made pressure moments feel ordinary. He retired with over 2,500 three-pointers, second all-time when he hung up his jersey, and shot nearly 40% from deep across 18 seasons. His conditioning turned every screen into a threat, and his late-game heroics became must-watch drama. Miller scored 8 points in 9 seconds against New York, stunned Chicago in multiple playoff battles, and helped Indiana reach the finals behind his steady scoring and off-ball mastery. He averaged at least 18 points for a decade straight and became the face of clutch shooting long before analytics crowned the three-pointer king. But each year, someone stood in Indiana's way. Jordan's Bulls, Shaq, and Kobe, or deeper rosters blocked his path. Miller never won a ring, but his influence shaped every movement shooter who followed. And the next section shifts even further back, where aerial artistry first took flight. Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor operated in an era unprepared for his style. He once averaged 38 points and nearly 19 rebounds in a single season, and he finished his career with 27 points per game. Still one of the highest marks ever. Baylor scored 61 points in a finals game, a record that still stands. And he revolutionized movement with hang time before the term even existed. He reached 8 finals yet won none. And the cruelest twist came in 1972 when the Lakers finally won the championship right after he retired 9 games into the season. Opponents struggled to contain his creativity, and fans watched him deliver highlights decades before highlight culture existed. Baylor's elegance and power laid the foundation for the modern wing. But first, only cool people are subscribed to this channel, so hit that subscribe button before we go any further. Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady looked like someone built in a lab to score. At his peak, he averaged 32.1 points per game, making him one of the youngest scoring champions ever. His blend of height, smooth footwork, tight handle, and effortless elevation created matchups defenders simply couldn't solve. McGrady dropped 13 points in 33 seconds, a burst that still feels impossible, and he recorded seasons with 8 or more rebounds and 5 assists while carrying entire rosters on his back. But it always unraveled when the playoffs arrived. Weak supporting casts, injuries, and brutal Western Conference battles kept him from winning a single postseason series in his prime. Even when he joined San Antonio late in his career, hoping for a last chance at glory, the door closed again. McGrady's talent felt unlimited, but timing punished him repeatedly. And the next name on this list built a legacy through longevity and evolution: Vince Carter. Vince Carter's career unfolded in 2 distinct acts, both unforgettable. Early on, he averaged more than 25 points per game while performing dunks that felt like violations of physics. His iconic 2000 dunk contest run remains unmatched, showcasing hang time and power no one has replicated since. Carter wasn't just a showman, though. He once averaged 27 points in a season and dropped 50 points in a playoff game as if flicking a switch. Then came the reinvention. Carter transitioned from superstar to veteran mentor, ultimately playing 22 seasons, the longest career in NBA history. He finished with over 25,000 points and more than 2,000 made threes, proving adaptability could extend greatness far beyond athletic decline. Despite multiple deep playoff runs, the championship always slipped away. Carter's story became one of endurance and transformation, and the next player earned his nickname by freezing defenders with effortless scoring: George Gervin. George Gervin floated through defenses with a style that felt supernatural. He averaged at least 20 points in 12 straight seasons and won 4 scoring titles, including one year in which he overtook David Thompson for the crown by dropping 63 on the final night. His finger roll became a signature move copied across generations, and his silky mid-range touch forced defenders into helpless contests. Gervin shot over 50% in multiple seasons, despite taking difficult, heavily guarded attempts, but his Spurs never gave him the supporting cast needed for a real championship push. He reached the conference finals 3 times, yet each run ended against deeper, more balanced teams. Gervin rarely showed emotion, choosing calm dominance instead of flash, and his cool demeanor only amplified his mystique. His legacy shaped scoring artistry forever, and the next name pushed creativity even further with raw athletic destruction: Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins earned the title Human Highlight Film with every violent dunk and explosive scoring stretch he delivered. He averaged more than 25 points for 10 straight seasons and once put up nearly 30 in a year while shooting over 44% from the field. His 1988 duel with Larry Bird in the Eastern semifinals remains one of the greatest shootouts ever, ending with Wilkins scoring 47 despite Boston advancing. Even after tearing his Achilles, he returned to average nearly 30 points the following season, a comeback almost unheard of in that era. But his Hawks were always outmatched. The East belonged to dynasties, and Atlanta couldn't build a roster capable of carrying Wilkins deep into the playoffs. His numbers screamed superstardom, yet his era left him overshadowed, and the next player built a resume defined by brilliance, precision, and constant heartbreak. Chris Paul. Chris Paul became the definition of a perfect floor general. He ranks third all-time in assists, first in career assist-to-turnover ratio for players with over 5,000 assists, and led the league in steals a record 6 times. His mid-range jumper from the elbow became automatic, and his pick-and-roll mastery turned big men into all-star candidates overnight. Paul guided 3 different franchises to franchise record win totals and produced multiple playoff runs that felt destined for more. But every time the finish line approached, something snapped. Injuries struck at the worst moments, teammates faltered, or opponents delivered legendary performances. His 2018 Rockets pushed the Warriors to the brink until Paul's hamstring gave out, altering NBA history. Even reaching the finals in 2021 ended in heartbreak. His command of the game is undeniable, and the next player rewrote record books with relentless force. Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook redefined what a point guard could be by attacking the game like a storm. He averaged a triple-double 4 times, something no one imagined would ever be repeated after Oscar Robertson. His 2017 season remains outrageous, averaging 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists while hitting game winners with volcanic emotion. Westbrook posted 42 triple-doubles that year alone, breaking a 55-year-old record. His speed forced defensive collapses, and his aggression created chaos that teams struggled to solve. But that same fury sometimes backfired. Playoff exits piled up, and Westbrook's teams couldn't translate his individual dominance into a championship. He bounced across franchises searching for a perfect fit, but his numbers never stopped impressing. His career became a monument to relentless effort, and the next star also broke the sport by bending its rules with stepbacks, free throws, and pure creation. James Harden. James Harden engineered an offensive style that made defenses miserable. He led the league in scoring 3 times, averaged 36.1 points in 2019, and created a step-back 3 so lethal it reshaped defensive schemes league-wide. Harden scored at least 30 points in 32 straight games during that stretch, the second longest streak in NBA history behind only Wilt. His mix of isolation mastery, foul-drawing tactics, and passing vision produced entire seasons where he generated over 50 points per game between scoring and assists. The Rockets came inches from dethroning Golden State in 2018, missing 27 straight threes during the collapse that still haunts fans. Despite MVP dominance, Harden's postseason flaws followed him everywhere. He chased new teams and new systems, but the championship stayed out of reach. Yet his impact on modern basketball is undeniable. If you like this video, consider watching this next one, which YouTube thinks you are going to really love.